And welcome back to the Jackrabbit Illustrated podcast. Here tonight, back with friends, not just myself tonight. And so excited for that. And this episode is sponsored by Kubota Dealers of South Dakota. Excited to have them on board. We finally, where I'm at here in West Central Minnesota, finally got rain. So I will get to use my lawnmower here in the next few days. And I'm pretty pumped about that. The Kubota 2680 that I have has been kind of collecting dust in the garage this summer just due to the drought. So I'm excited to get out and get moving on it, get cutting some grass. So thank you, Kubota Dealers. There's a bunch of them in South Dakota. Go to one of our blog articles or the blog, the website in general, click on it and learn about your options there. So John Colley's our guy. He's the one that connected with us, helped us at Frisco with the tailgate, and he'll make sure that we get you set up with what you need for your operation. So thanks, Kubota.
So what Dallas, you're saying is by Kubota, right?
By Kubota. Yep.
Got it.
Dallas, how the heck you been, man?
I'm good. I've been traveling a ton lately. So this year I'm probably going to be like an every other week guy for a while. Got to be in Kentucky setting up a warehouse, but no, I'm doing great. It's kind of a rainy, weird day. It's honestly the last day of summer at my house. Basically, we got fall camp for Hudson starting on Monday.
Ooh.
And to me, that signals the end. Nikki didn't want to hear it. She disagreed with me, but it's done. It's fall camp and ready to go here. But no, otherwise life's good.
Good to see you. Chad, what about you, man?
You're muted, Chad.
You're muted.
What is this, week 0? What? Come on, man.
Hey, there was some noise in the background. I didn't want to be that guy. Now I need to just change my name to that guy, I guess. No, just was down at the Knoxville Nationals watching the races all week. So come off our annual family vacation with a week down there. And yeah, excited to get back into it. We got less than 3 weeks for football. It's on a Thursday. Can't wait to tailgate and show up to work at 5:30 the next morning. So,
hey,
hoorah.
Perfect. All right, the newest member of our team, Chase Norblade. Chase, how the heck you doing?
Good, man. Just looking forward to getting back up to school. I'm in Omaha, Nebraska, or Papillion, Nebraska right now, just at home. I'll head back up to Brookings this week, so ready to finish that out.
All right.
How much you got left?
Just a semester.
Yeah. All right, cool. For those that don't know, what's your major again?
Economics, minor in marketing.
All right. Excellent.
Yep.
So Chase, you played for 4 years,
yep.
Right? I remember, your recruitment journey. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when the day you signed and how excited Coach Jackson was to have you on board. And Coach Jackson and the recruiting special telling me about all the schools we beat out for you. And, you had that chance to walk on at Nebraska. We had a scholarship to Northwest Missouri State, right?
Yeah.
So obviously some great programs there. But you chose the Jacks.
Yeah.
Your 4 years looking back. What do you think overall?
Well, easily the best decision I've ever made. I knew I always wanted to be a Jackrabbit. My brother-in-law now, Ryan Arith, was at SDSU. Josh Manchagaya, so many Papillion guys, Kay Johnson, just so many guys. I just had such a connection here without really even being up there. And I just knew that was where I wanted to be. And then when I got up there and I started meeting the coaches and making those connections, I was like, this place is awesome all around.
Hey, good. And now you get to hang out with us. So
exactly.
What a transition.
Cherry on the top. Yeah. It all works out.
Yeah. Good. So the last time we saw you in a uniform, you were holding the national championship trophy and smoking a cigar.
Oh yeah.
Take us back to that day. What was going on with you?
Oh man, I don't know. It was just such a difference from the first time we were there, just because, we could actually enjoy the moment a little bit. Besides the loss, but enjoy the moment, just be around, travel a little bit around the area. So that was exciting. I was happy we were able to do that. And then, of course, just connecting with the guys was the best part of it. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, good. All right. So, Chase, part of the reason you are here is because whenever I would – oh, geez. Am I good? My
Yep,
screen
you're
went
good.
black for a
It
second.
hiccuped there, but you're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're good.
Part of the reason you're here is whenever I would connect with Coach Bergstrom, he would say, Chase Norblade. It's like having a quarterback right out in the back end of the defense.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was used to. I used to play quarterback. My dad played quarterback at Kearney, Nebraska. So
Okay.
it's always kind of a deal, I guess.
All right. Well, good. I look forward to working with you this year and kind of hearing your insight about what you're seeing on the defense and on the offense, I guess, how you'd be approaching it as a defender. So
Yeah, definitely. Too.
Thanks for joining us.
Of course.
Yeah. Now, Chad and Dallas, now that I've peppered him with all sorts of questions, sorry, Chase, we didn't prep for that at all. But you guys got anything? Anything that's on your mind?
Go ahead, Dallas.
No, nothing different. Those are the same things I was curious about. Just excited to, I don't know, add some new blood and get your perspective and I don't know, get rolling with the season. I am so anxious. So Chase, we've got a group text thread, and Friday I was so useless at work, just waiting for football to start. Yeah. And my goodness, there's really nothing else on my mind right now, and it's impacting other areas of my life, and we need to get the season going.
I know. I mean, the preseason's been kind of fun, just NFL and stuff, just because, we have so many guys in different spots. So that's been a lot of fun.
I watched a preseason Packers game. Good God, what is happening?
Yeah, good man. Good man. We got Packers on this side.
Probably. I saw the Chiefs game today. Did you guys watch that one?
Yeah, how'd Chris do? I didn't see it.
He was doing well, and then I think they kind of put him in a bad spot. They were up by 1 with like 50 seconds left, and it was 3rd down. Threw a screenplay, and the defender picked it off. The lineman picked it off, and they kicked the field goal to win it. So it was a tough last drive.
Yep. We, our other guys, we saw Cade obviously get injured.
Yeah.
No one wants to see that. Sounds like he's doing okay.
Yeah.
Pierre had an okay game. I don't think, it sounds like New England's line that he was running behind was awful. Christian started for the Rams.
Yeah.
Looks like he's first on the depth chart, had a couple tackles, flying around like we're used to. Tucker had 1 catch, 1 pass that I'm sure he'd like back to fight a little more for. Sounds like he had a heck of a practice today. So that's good. And I don't think Dallas played for the Eagles. Did he? I don't remember. But
I don't remember.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. So anyways, it's fun seeing so many guys in the league. You're right. Absolutely, Chase.
Especially being able to play with them. It's a really cool deal.
Yeah.
I guess the one question I would have for you is what's it like going into the season this year as compared to what you're used to? Because that's got to be like, what do I do with my hands?
Yeah, like you guys said, I'm very much looking forward to the tailgating aspect of it. That's always the thing is like before the game starts, a bunch of players, we will go see the families and stuff. And there's a little bit of jealousy, even though you're about to play the game, you're like, these guys are having so much fun. So I'm excited to do that. And then above all that, just be everybody's biggest fan. These guys deserve so much support and so much love. And I'm excited just always be in all their corners. So,
hey,
that's awesome. And you got to make sure you carve out some time to hang out with us before games too, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just a little bit. All right.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right.
That's the point. Yeah, we're going to be hitting it hard. We'll have a good time.
I'll have a beer with your name on it, bud.
There we go.
Chad, what's this deal? I guess on Twitter, right? Someone's accusing you of over-promising on beer.
Yeah, that's
I don't get that.
I don't know. I don't get it either because like one time he was supposed to have margaritas at his place, and then we showed up and his margarita machine was down. So if anybody overpromised, it was him. So
Hey,
take that, buddy.
Yeah. All right. So
I always have plenty of free
I know
beer. Yeah,
that's what I was wondering. You always do.
maybe I promised to bring a certain type and forgot it. Or
Yeah,
something.
there we go.
So it sounds like someone's being defensive. Speaking of defense,
There you go.
Yeah. So let's fire this up. So I've had a chance to visit with all the coaches on defense, able to connect with Coach Bob about the entirety and then the new position coaches. We're going to start with defensive line here. And let's talk just really quick about Coach Bibbs. Holy smokes, this guy brings the fire. Zim mentioned it on his our first article, I think, about it, or maybe a tweet. And these defensive linemen are just going to be, I don't know, he's going to be just in the intensity, really where Coach Smith, I think, left off. The big thing that he pointed out is that he wants to continue the heavy rotation, right, that we've grown used to with a bunch of quality guys up and down. And really, the guys he started talking about right away are Cade Tavere, Jared DePriest, Ryan Van Marl, right? Those big three are kind of who he talked about right away. Supposedly, Tavere just looks all-American level right now. Flying off the ball, being a nuisance, just really, really good. Dallas, you played end, right? So who are you looking at, from guys that are also on the depth chart there at end?
I don't know that I've spent a ton of time just focusing on end, but I mean, you're right when you talk about the necessity to rotate. And any of these guys, you can have a starting four go deep into the game, but the ability to rotate like that, because, I mean, there's probably 10 defensive linemen that could see equal reps all the way through a game, and some guys that can pop inside and outside a little bit too, because finally South Dakota State is getting the size that we didn't have for quite a while. We had joked about this, and if anybody is into data, I would love to see somebody put together like an average weight of the defensive line versus wins per year, because I guarantee you those two things would slope in the same direction, because we've got the size, and that's what, obviously you look at being number one against the run last year, and that's what does it. But back to specifics, I don't know. I mean, I'm most excited just in general to either see probably Van Marl or Tavere, and I don't know which one I think can have more of a breakout this year, but I think both of them are poised for that. And also just looking to see who ends up being kind of the emotional leader of the team, because that's a position where there's always at least one guy that has to kind of bring the fire and keep everybody going through the game, because you're getting beat on, right? And it starts to wear you down a little bit. And some of it gets monotonous because, like we've talked about at defensive line, you can play a perfect game and never make a tackle, right? So you need someone to keep you motivated and keep you going and excited. And I'm wondering who that's going to be with the departures that we've had.
Mm-hmm. Chase, we have a request from Zach Larson here to talk about some of the guys that you noticed last year, whether it's young guys we haven't seen, or if it's Quentin Hicks, or you probably didn't see Blake Peterson, I guess. No overlap there. So
no.
Yeah. Any I guess Caden Johnson, Randy, what are you thinking?
Oh, for what's the question?
For end, who are you thinking at end? Maybe emerges, maybe where Reese was at. Who steps up in that other starting spot?
Yeah, well, honestly, just for the whole defense, is just there's so much experience all around. People like Q Hicks have been playing since our freshman year.
Yep.
Caden has taken so many reps too. There's just so many people that have stepped into the role really well. It helps when they rotate too. It's just, I don't know. There's not one that I could just say right there. Everybody's been killing it at the D line. That's how we always start. It starts at the front. So that's always what Coach Rogers is screaming at us before the game starts. So they put a lot of weight on their shoulders for what we do as a defense.
Oh, I just realized you're gonna have to make sure you keep it PC all season, because everybody's got your number still, right?
What's that?
You can't play favorites because everybody's got your phone number yet.
Oh, yeah. I'm always just worried about just throwing names out there, and then you forget one and you feel horrible. So
Yep.
It's again just the depth in this entire team. It's impossible to mention everybody. You just have to read the roster off every week.
Hey.
Somebody popped up a question there about Peterson, and actually we've got the two transfers in. I don't know anything about the northern.
Yeah, I'll talk about Dawson. Yep.
Perfect. Back to Blake Peterson. I mean, he had some meaningful reps at Iowa State. I'm excited to see what he brings. Past podcasts, we've talked about how I overlapped with his dad for a year. I think his dad, Brandon, was like a 6-year senior when I was a freshman. He was one of those just giant, scary old guys when I came in, but great, just solid all around football player. And Blake comes in with the same complexion and strawberry blonde hair, and I'm kind of excited to see what he does.
Yeah, so we got the other transfer. Blake's obviously from Iowa State, played that 3-4 defensive end there, so wasn't asked to rush the passer as much. That's part of the reason why he ended up choosing SDSU, is he just wants to be a 4-3 end, get off the get after the passer a little bit more. And then the other kid that folks from Northwest Iowa have been chirping at me about, Dawson Ripperda. I'm going to say that wrong. But just sounds like he brings the juice. Really, really a high motor player, really strong, just really, I don't know. When I talked to Coach Bibbs, he was really excited about him. And then as a player, we don't know this year if we're going to actually see him or not, just given all the depth that we have. Chase, you mentioned Caden Johnson. Caden Johnson's been a fan, I guess, of ours just for how hard he plays week in or play in and play out. Man, that guy just really goes. Yep. Coach Bibb has mentioned Levi Vandenboss as a player that's really had a good spring, good winter, and then start of summer here, really, really good. What do we see? Last year, obviously Q. We all know about Q. He's been around forever. Started as just kind of a pass rushing specialist. Oh my gosh, computer, what's going on? And then Randy's going to be about mid-season addition. Unfortunately, again, just can't stay healthy right now. And it'd be just awesome if we could see Randy healthy for a 6-game stretch just to see what he could actually do.
Do we know what happened there? I don't recall.
Knee.
Yeah,
okay.
Something like that. Yeah, but Randy, he's a freak athlete. And if you've been able to see him in the weight room or anything, you're like, man, this guy could have potential. So yeah, really hoping he could stick off the injury bug.
Yep. The other end, that started to see some meaningful snaps last year, right, was Zach Wilson. It kind of was a rotational piece, and it sounded like he was going to have an opportunity this year to earn some more playing time. So we'll see how he's doing, I guess, in camp and what we see this fall, how he fits into the rotation. So
it's exciting to have all those options in the first season since I believe 2009 without Reese Winkleman. So it's going to be tough to replace, but
yeah,
the best player, to
and
come
Reese
out of that high school, right?
Best player out of Marshall, Minnesota.
There we go. Chase, you'll have to get us Reese for a week.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You should.
Yeah, we definitely could.
Yeah, because his mom used to come on here and talk to us.
Yeah, he would be talking the whole time.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right, let's go to D-tackle. All right, what can you tell us about the big two guys right in the middle right away?
We're going to have to do the name thing because I don't want to.
Van Marl.
Yeah, he's been playing forever, and he's filled in a lot of roles that was a spot that needed to be filled in. And, he's a big guy with the pass or the field goal block too. We haven't had one of those. He was always a big field goal blocker. So yeah, he's a huge key to the defense down there.
And then DePriest.
Yeah. Can't say enough good things about either of those guys. They're just very accountable, very reliable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't say enough good things.
One of my favorite plays from last season in a season of incredible plays was when he buried Jason Shelley down at Missouri State.
Oh yeah. And then
yeah, that was my favorite.
Too.
The first thing I think of.
I mean, he could have killed him.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Well, when you've got back to just to make a general statement, talking about defensive tackles, when you look at the way we rotated through linebackers last year, guys that we didn't intend to have on the field, and every single guy that stepped back there, they're all great athletes. They look every linebacker we played looked all conference caliber, and that is always a direct result of the 1 tech and the 3 tech playing in front of them.
Makes a big difference.
Definitely.
Yep. And the question I have been pondering about, right, is that pass rush production from Caleb Sanders last year, as a defensive tackle. That's not something that you just find. That just doesn't happen. So who's going to step up and do that? And, both last year's, both the defensive line coaches have mentioned that they think, where'd he go? Oh my gosh. Brian Williams has that potential, right? Has that twitch on the interior to maybe do some of that. We got to see Brian in very limited reps last year just because he was injured right away against Iowa and then didn't come back until late in the regular season. Chase, what did you see from Brian last year, maybe in practice or at other chances?
Well, I would say the biggest thing that was impressive wasn't even on field. Is he just connected so well with every player. You know, like he came in here and he's from Chipley, same area as Zach Wilson, so kind of was easy to get to know the guys. But man, he came and connected so well with all of us, and then you know you can tell he was a grinder too on the field. He was a very hardworking, and I'm just excited for him and see what he can do once he gets more implemented into the system and everything.
Good. Some of the other depth, right? We have Max Balloon, who was exciting last year, kind of came out of nowhere. Was a former defensive end. Most of the season, he was listed still at 6'6", 225, I think, or 245, something like that. He's now listed at 285 on the roster. We saw Max at the scholarship banquet, and he is definitely, filled out. So
got him on that Larson Commons meal plan.
Yeah. So it's those 6'6" defensive tackles too are kind of a pain in the butt. We saw that for years at Illinois State with some of their big defensive tackles. So
when your frame's that big, you just eat up so much space, right? And as long as you don't give any ground on the line of scrimmage, you essentially nullify two people right out of the gate.
Yeah. Some younger guys that we saw just glimpses of last year. Aaron Wolfkale, right? Started to make some plays again towards the end of the season. I believe he was like a player of the week too in one of the games last year, defensive player of the week. So that was kind of cool. He seems to have some twitch on the inside too. And then someone that folks have raved about for 2 years now is Logan Green. He was a walk-on out of Iowa and just a powerful kid, it sounds like. Coach Bibbs called him the strongest pound-for-pound kid in the room. And I thought that was pretty interesting, given that he's only his second year in the program. And he talked about, lateral quickness and how some of these guys, have some of that lateral quickness to be pass rushers, whereas Logan Green just wants to punch you in the mouth and back you up into the backfield 3 yards. So that's kind of cool. Mentioned maybe like some Mason McCormick type attitude,
that says a lot.
Demeanor. So that's kind of cool. And then, some of the younger cats, just as athletes that he mentioned for now, Jay Cipher out of Howard, former 9-man player, really athletic, still kind of figuring out the position, it sounds like, but there's potential there. And then a freshman he was super high on. I doubt if we see him this year for more other than 4 games is Bryce Hawthorne from up in the cities. So
dude's got pedigree.
Osseo, I think. Yeah, his dad was a Gopher. I think his dad played in the NFL for a while.
More than a cup of coffee. I think his dad was in for a while.
Sure. So very, very, very excited about Bryce. So again, I don't think we see him this year too much, but defensive line's going to be all right. Chain gang's doing well.
That bodes well for the future too. If there's guys that could see the field this year, don't have to, make sure it buys them an extra year down the road. That's exciting.
Yep. That's the thing, right? Imagine if we had an extra year of Xavier Ward versus, Xavier Ward being a 5th year in the program versus Xavier Ward as an 18-year-old freshman, right? Like, you just think about that. That's the benefit. That's how the program's growing in 6 or 7 years, whatever it's been.
Yeah, X was great. So,
yeah. Anything to add on the chain gang, fellas? Chad, any thoughts? Sorry, we've skipped you a little bit.
Yeah, no, not too much. I mean, DePriest, that's what I was. He's my guy, I think, on the interior. That's all I could think of was the hit on Jason Shelley too. That was one of those you're sitting there watching the game and you go, ooh, you get all excited and pumped up, and nothing better than, putting somebody that's running their trap a little bit in their place. But to be fair, Jason Shelley, talented athlete, he had the stuff to back it up. So.
Important question here. Chase, did Caleb Sanders know that we nicknamed him the Colonel?
Yes, 100%.
Yes,
I'm taking full credit for that one.
Yeah, he definitely did, and his head probably grew a little bit more after that.
Oh, you made my night. I'm going to go to bed now.
Chase, be careful, because Caleb's grandma watches this show, and she is a super sweet lady. So
it's all love.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right, linebackers. I need a drink of water. Will someone kick us off with linebackers?
Well, it's definitely a position of depth, isn't it, Dallas?
Yeah, I think you look back at last year and just the number of guys that we've got coming back and the people that we cycled through And, I would say probably toss up with the running back for me for deepest position. In terms of total numbers, obviously there's more, just based on how many you carry. And Jimmy brought in another, I don't know, I might be off, another 15 to 35 linebackers this year in the class coming up. Something like that is what it felt like. I mean, he knows his type and he knows what it's like. But, you've got, again, Mr. All-World Bach, in the middle. And, he's on everybody's list. Still most excited for me, you got Jason Freeman back. He is my favorite, I don't want to say favorite football player on the team. I think I've said about 10 guys are. But in terms of like the guy that you, as a dad, where you're sitting next to your son and you go, all right, watch that guy, you play like him. To me, that was Jason Freeman. I don't know. Chase, you got any comments on Jason?
Yeah, I mean, you could really tell the addition just like from watching film and seeing bodies flying around. That's Jason's every play, his body is going to be moving. He's always to the ball. Yeah, you don't want to be around him if he mishits you, though. I mean, he hits like a train. He's a big dog.
Collateral damage.
He's like a missile flying around out there.
Yeah,
definitely.
He flies to the ball. It's crazy.
Full speed all the time.
So beyond that, I think we probably see some shuffling inside to outside and some guys moving around, maybe playing spots they weren't intended on. But you've got Savion Williamson. I'm going to be his biggest fan just because I'm in Mankato. He's from Waseca, just right down the road. Caleb, Graham Spalding, Dayton, all those guys. Again, we have, in my mind, kind of an embarrassment of riches at the linebacker position. I'm hoping Matt has some insider info on some new guys coming up because I've not done a ton of research there, though.
I think it'll be really good to get a chance to see Frankel since he got hurt early in that Iowa game. See what he's got to offer. I'm excited for that, definitely.
Yeah, because everybody, you look back a year ago, Chase, and I remember there was so much buzz around him, and everybody was so excited for what he was going to do. And then, again, you don't forget about somebody, but just as well as everybody played that filled in different positions throughout the year, we got to the end, and I remember we had a conversation on the pod where it was like, man, that's right. We've been missing him all year.
Yeah.
And excited for this year.
Looking after, it was just the first game, but, he had to pick that game. He was playing super good. Can't tell you how well of a summer he had that year. And, man, I'm just excited for him as well. I think he will be just huge for the team. And a lot of people, like you said, might forget about him just because of how long ago he got hurt and how well people stepped up and kind of shadowed it a little bit, but he's going to be huge also.
I'm not sure we talk about enough how fast our linebacking group is. Man, they just fly all over the field compared to a lot of linebacking cores that I see. They're not small either, but they still just, man, they get to the ball and right now, covering in the flats, they do such a good job all over the field. Obviously, like you said, Jimmy knows the position and he knows his guys, so that doesn't hurt.
Let's get it. Matt, you're muted, bud. Week 0.
Still muted.
What are you doing?
Still muted.
God, what is happening here?
I can unmute you.
Clown show.
I'll unmute you.
Chad, quit muting me or unmute me.
I only unmuted you after I said I would unmute you, and then you muted yourself.
Hoofta, week 0, preseason, folks. And I was by myself last week. All right. So again, we have 7 guys, right, with starting experience. You mentioned them, Dallas. You went through them here. I love Graham Spalding. It seems like every year, I've talked to Jimmy, talked to Bobbit about it now, and every year it's like, oh, we got so and so, so and so, so and so, and so and so. Oh, and then Graham Spalding, he just busts his butt and he makes plays. And and by the end of the year, Graham's on the field a ton, right? Just every year, that's how it goes. And Graham really, he makes plays when given the opportunity. Obviously, Jason Freeman right now, is getting the recognition he deserves. I think our starting 3, if it is Freeman, Bach, and Stallbird, right? That's just tremendous. Those are tremendous players, like 3 of the best linebackers we've had. I'm glad you guys brought up Frankel because in the blog that's coming out this week, the defensive previews are coming out this week, starting on tomorrow. I have Caleb Francel in there. I said he may have played one of the greatest halves a Jackrabbit linebacker ever has. And I give out his stat line, and it just like blows your brain that it was just a one less than one half of play.
Sorry, what game? Where was it at?
The Iowa game.
Oh, gotcha.
Iowa. Yeah. So obviously then Dayton, loved Dayton. Got to meet his dad down in Frisco, and that was really cool. Go mute yourself. Oh, that's not very nice, Kevin. Gosh. Citadel. All right.
He's just mad we haven't had him on the pod yet.
I know. All right. And some young guys to watch. That's what you asked about, Dallas. Bryce Johnson, right? Coaches have called him a cyborg, just how he looks walking around the building and things like that. He's the former Colorado State commit that ended up in Brookings after the coaching change out there. Just sounds like a great person, great kid, and going to be a great football player. It sounds
I thought he was a safety. Oh, I thought that guy was a safety.
No, sir. And then in the middle, Joe Ullman, who had a heck of a spring, stood out in the spring game, was flying around. So that's exciting for him. Cullen McShane. Chad, we met his family down in Iowa last year before the UNI game. That was a blast.
That was great.
In our rainy tent. And then obviously the Kussler twins, right? They've been kind of starring as special teams players, especially last year. But no, those guys are guys to watch that could force their way into some discussions too. And as Jesse said, trust them. They just got to start making the plays. They're in the right positions. Just got to make the plays. So look forward to these preview articles because you get to talk about all these guys a little bit more in there.
I'm glad you touched on special teams because that's an exciting thing too to see how strong we're going to be when you've got depth at linebacker and just in the secondary in general. Those are the guys that typically are flying around making plays on special teams. And when you've got as many starting caliber players as we do, they're going to get on the field in other ways and make plays and make a difference. So, special teams should be real solid this year.
And we have to be excited for the new special teams dedicated coach. And I think
we got a coach
from you. Sorry, Matt.
No. I can't believe we missed over Savion. We didn't talk about Savion at all, Dallas.
Savion's
that's my guy.
I called him my guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jeez. I was muted.
He's been around the program forever. Finally got a shot last year and absolutely proved himself.
It's overlooked too how much of a leader in the ring is.
Okay, that's good to hear. I've heard that other places, and I
root for very much. He's a
nice,
very genuine, great dude.
Awesome, good. Yeah, Coach Bobbitt spoke very highly of him and how he's helping coach these young guys that I just ran through. So, yeah, awesome. All right, Chase, you're up. Secondary. Yeah.
It's kind of the same discussion we've had with all of these. It's just I'm so excited about the experience that everybody has, and that really started for the safeties, at least just from last year, just from, the injuries me and Kale went through, and then the amount of guys that stepped up from, Dante as a freshman, Tucker, I'm naming people, I'm going to forget again, but yeah, there's just so many guys that just stepped up, and it was the coolest thing to see. And I think it was just, it's going to keep going on. And I think they're going to have a tremendous year this year from safeties, at least, and corners. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So 2 guys, when I was able to talk to Pete, new coach, new position coach, Pete Menage.
Yep.
Were you ever teammates with Pete?
No, but he was my freshman year. He was like the assistant behind or helping out Fergie.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
So obviously you talked a lot about Kale and just, Kale knows the defense now inside and out. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of staying healthy, right? For him also. So if he can stay healthy, I think Kale has, Missouri Valley potential this year.
Easily. Yeah. Or not easily, but definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Potential for sure.
So, the next guy that he talked about is someone we saw start playing a ton everywhere last year in Tucker Large.
Yeah.
Talk about Tucker Large.
Watching him play.
His mentality, he's one of the smaller dudes on the team, but talk about him a little bit.
Yeah. And the amount of improvement he's had is just crazy. And it's a credit to himself. It starts at practice. He's that kind of guy. So he's a guy that takes as much one-on-one reps as he can. And he's gotten so much better. He's probably one of our best coverage guys in one-on-ones and transitions to the field. And that's how it kind of started. And then it just showed that he's a baller. He's just a gamer. That's how he is. And yeah, he's a confidence guy too. So once he gets that going, he can do whatever. He can do anything. So.
And that was one, and I say this with all due respect, as a fan, somebody that clearly is not in the room, doesn't know Tucker. When it wound up that he was going to see significant time on the field, that's one where kind of just past experience in sports, you see a younger guy wasn't intended necessarily to get on the field. You get this like, oh no, this could end poorly. And man, did he take advantage of that and dude just balled out. And it went from, oh no, there's somebody that may not be ready out there to, hey, this is exciting. I can't wait to watch this guy next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We really saw that at every position around the lineup. Whoever came in, next man up was absolutely in effect.
I remember that was the biggest thing I think Rogers talked about all the time, was how proud he was, just how many guys stepped up just to fill in. It doesn't even matter who they were, if they were walk-on, where they were on the depth chart. Everybody stepped up. Everybody played their part, and I think that's a credit to the success last year, honestly.
Mm-hmm. All right. The other guys in the room, right? Kobe Herter. Talked about him. Kobe's instincts, really, really good. Had the interception, nearly a pick six, right? Right against Missouri State.
Oh, yeah.
You guys got on him on that. All right. And then Matt Durant's, who, shared with us again at the scholarship auction. He's healthy. He had surgery after the national championship and got right. And it's the best he's felt, I guess, in a long time since getting to Brookings, actually, he said. So, again, talking to Bobbitt, still thinks he's the fastest guy in the room there at safety. Yeah. And he's freaky big for a safety, too.
Oh, yeah, and lengthy. He's deceiving, but he's got speed, and man, I just want him to get healthy, and he needs to get the confidence just to get going. He hasn't had much time to just feel free and get going. Once you start just learning the playbook, then he'll be ready and stuff, especially since he wasn't able to play in the spring.
Yep. And then Dante, you mentioned him a little bit.
Yeah.
What are some things you saw from Dante Johnson as an incoming freshman last year?
Man, I've never seen somebody that just wanted to learn so much. Plus, he was like a genius. Like, he had halfway, was done with college before he even got here, like some weird, crazy thing. And yeah, he's just a very smart kid, very athletic, little raw, just for the position. But once he gets figuring out his body and how to move and the knowledge of the game, the confidence that I'm really excited for him. He's going to be really good. And he was another Colorado State guy too, right?
Yep, he was
Colorado.
Yep. So you were close, Dallas. You were close.
Oh, you know what? That's what I was thinking of. There we go. I'm not crazy.
Yeah, somebody had mentioned that you were thinking about Dante. Randy Jacobs had said that. So.
Oh, yep. Thank you, Randy. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Randy's always got our back. He knows. Hey, all right. Cornerback group. And this reminds me of, Chase, I think when you first got here and we still had JB, we had Don, and just kind of the long list of corners. We had Tajay at the time, Diamond, Gandy, just like a ridiculous Deshaun. I think Deshaun started one of those games too. Like, just a ridiculous group of corners. Maybe there's not the overlap with JB, but still.
JB left the year right before I got there, but yeah, there's just so many guys. It's
Yeah, Marshawn was part of that group. Yeah. So this group is just insane right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, lead off with Deshaun. Just, his instincts and feel for the game. I think maybe being a former quarterback in high school helps him maybe with some recognition stuff. I don't know, but he's just a player. Like, when he stepped on the field against the U, it was like, who is this kid? Yeah. And he had a really good game. And since then, he's pretty much started, I think, since then. But
yeah, he's got a in him. He's the great leader too in that room. He holds all of those guys accountable. He's making sure they're putting in extra work in the summers and all that. And yeah, he's just a very accountable guy and a very heavy hitter as well, which sometimes you don't get at corner. So that's a good thing to have.
Yeah.
Didn't his position coach call him out as having another coach on the field in the
Oh yeah,
in the
he's
position
plays
preview
out.
too?
He's screaming everything out. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, thank you, Chad, for saying coach there. Position coach. I am
Yeah.
so pumped to have Mike Banks as the cornerback coach right now. Illinois State has had just some awesome cornerback groups, secondaries.
Yes.
Every year it feels like when we play them, they have players back there. Last year was no different. They had two, all Valley caliber players in Frankie West and the kid that transferred in and then transferred out again. So two really good corners. Every year it feels like they have good players back there. And Coach Banks, just talking to him, has a real energy about him. Really just appreciated our conversation and excited to see what he does with this group, I guess. Coach Erickson, for those that don't know, moved on to, I think, Wisconsin Eau Claire or something like that, where he's the head man now, kind of
Or
back home in his
lacrosse.
home territory. Lacrosse, maybe. Yeah, one of the two. So good for Coach Erickson. But Coach Banks, thank you, Chad, for bringing him up. So I'm excited.
Stiller has a nice comment. You want to talk to that, Matt?
Yeah, I will. Don't worry. Daishan, how funny was his video being mic'd up in practice? I hope they keep doing that.
Yeah, that was a new thing. I wasn't really expecting that, but they picked the right guy to do it for the first time,
Yeah. I like what did you say on that when they were running sprints at the end there? Like kind of leaning back and he's like, want to see what the fastest guy on the team looks like?
Yeah. He just jogs it or something.
Yeah. And Quentin must have heard him because you could see Quentin smiling, just kind of laughing.
Yeah.
There. Quentin smiles all the time, I guess.
He's always got to get part of his joke in. The joke. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Dallas. You want to talk about Dallas?
Yeah. I mean, we've had we've talked about Dallas too. Dallas might as well
we had a very lengthy discussion when he came on the scene about whether or not he should be a member of the Dallas Club. And just to fill you in, Chase, so there's the Dallas Club. I was the founding member. We had Dallas Brown and Dallas Goddard. Neither one of them know about it, but they're both members. So then we need to have a vote on whether or not Dallas Beanham would join. And then he had a hell of a year, and he is in. So it's the spelling threw it off a little bit. That's what Matt was getting at. Yeah. But no, go ahead. Let's talk Dallas Beanham. If I'm nervous that anybody breaks my dad's interception records, I think he's got a shot if he gets in the right positions. He's athletic.
Yeah, he's a ball hawk too, and he's always been that way ever since the Millard West days. I grew up playing against him in high school, so he's always just been a dude, and he had to kind of fill in that role. He had guys like Don, Daishan, Malik, like a bunch of dudes ahead of him that had a lot of experience, and he still found a way to get accomplishments. He still found a way to get a lot of playing time, a lot of stats, and he's just a crazy good player.
Cool. How about Stephen RL? Right, earlier this summer, I wrote a post on Twitter just saying who my pick for a breakout player was. I got a ton of responses for Steve, and Steve brings unique size to the cornerback room. He's learning how to use that physicality, or has learned how to use that size and be super physical. And folks just around the program are really excited what he's going to bring. And he played a lot last year. Yeah. So
pads on the field, if you were a coach, you would get excited. He's so lengthy. He's long, he's tall as a corner and as athletic he is too. It's really good to have.
Mm-hmm. I did a quick little screen grab from that video of Daishan, and there's the end where they're on the sideline. Him and Steve are running back towards, and they're about even with each other. Daishan's a little bit behind, but I mean, Daishan's not a small cornerback either. I would never call Daishan small for a corner. No, and Steve just looks huge compared to him. So
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. I'm excited to see him in a little more extended use possibly this year.
For sure. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, he's just a big athlete. I mean, like, he's somebody that he looks like if he came in at that size and they made him eat enough, he'd just be a tight end. Like, he's just athletic and can move. I'm serious. Like, he's just a big frame.
Yeah. And we kind of mentioned here about special teams, but that just all these players that we talk about just make it so much more exciting to have on special teams, and that's a huge part of our program is keeping a lot of much of the starters and much of like players that we can as on the special teams. So that's going to be super exciting to see as well.
Yep. 4 younger players that maybe we haven't seen yet, and I guess 4 players we haven't seen yet. One of them's not young anymore. Aiden Dotterman was a big special teams player last year. Another big corner, really still kind of learning the position, it sounds like. Spent a lot of time in high school at wide receiver, played both ways. But really, like from what I saw last year on special teams with him, just like a real toughness, a tenacity, wants to get better, it looks like. I was excited about him for being mentioned there. Good hands, probably a playmaker. Chase, what do you think on AD?
Yeah, like you said, he wants to get better. That is his biggest strong suit. Is he's always trying to look better. He's always doing his own work, and he's always going into getting some breaks and stuff. He's just a very hard worker, and he's got his head on straight too. He's following the right people, and yeah, he'll be a great player.
Good. All right, we're finally going to get to this one. Miles Taylor, right, had the incredible interception that folks have been talking about. Showed up on the NCAA football interception. Miles is another one that finally is getting healthy. And it's funny because the day he had that interception was the day the cornerback preview came out, and they talked to Banks. And Banks highlighted him as someone that's been standing out, looking real good. When I talked to Banks before practice started, he was saying that, yeah, Miles Taylor, man, keep an eye on this guy. Great spring, great summer. We're excited to see what he does this fall with the pads on again. So far, so good for Miles. Chase, we don't know much about Miles. We've hardly seen him.
Like you said, that's always been his issue. Even when he started or got here at first fall camp, has just been injuries. He hasn't been very to be consistent without being injured. So I think if he can do that, he'll be a really good addition as well.
Yeah. Jalen Lee then
I'm excited for him. He's a young guy that impressed a lot of us last year that is going to do some stuff too. So,
okay. Yeah. I forget if it was Bobbitt or Banks called him the best man corner on the team. And so that's exciting about a player that we haven't even got to see yet, really. We haven't even taken him out of the wrapping yet. Put him
on
He's somebody I enjoyed him on Twitter for a long time. Like he was a cheerleader before he was on campus for South Dakota State. Like just vocal and we just portrayed being a leader. And I'm curious what he's like in that room as he gets older and gets some experience.
Yeah. I'm like I said, really excited for him.
Yep. And then the other guys, Abe Hoskins, right? Out of Omaha Central.
Yep.
A player, again, that just hasn't been able to stay healthy. It feels like he'll have a good run where coaches are excited about him. I start getting some buzz like, hey, Abe's showing some good stuff. And then, he hurts his foot or ankle or whatever it is. And then we don't see him again. So I'm bummed for him as a person. I want to see him out on the field because it sounds like he has some special talent.
Yeah. And with that injury too, he's had to do a lot with, rehab and stuff just to get back. So I know he's full of fire. I know he's ready to get back, and he's just a competitor. He didn't let this pretty big injury get to him. So I'm excited for him too.
Good. All right. So that's our defensive preview. It sounds like we're going to be playing, some different looks this year. That's one of the things that Rodgers has talked about, right? In all of his interviews since basically being named the head coach, is being a little more flexible, changing personnel between maybe a 4-3, 3-4, 4-2-5, different things like that. When you hear that, what's everyone's kind of thoughts on maybe some of those change-ups there?
I think it's
the old guy. Why fix what isn't broken?
Ooh.
Meanwhile, I'd love to see some new looks and keep the offense guessing as to what they're going to have to go against. So,
I don't think it'll be very dramatic, honestly. Like he just said, defense has been doing very well. I haven't heard the interviews. I haven't heard what he said, but just thinking of Rodgers, I know he likes to stick to what he does, and I don't know. I'm not sure what it'll turn out to be, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. I just am with so many. and it's hard, right? If there was a position group on this defense where it was like, geez, we only have 3 good defensive linemen, or man, our linebacking core is really thin right now. But you look up and down, and there's not a position group that's
No, there's no holes, and it sounds arrogant as hell to say it. There are no holes. The only thing going through all of that is, okay, there's a clear top 3 corners. Who emerges as the 4th? We know that a ton of people can. Mm-hmm. And even that, it's not like everybody's parading 4 corners out in every game anyway. So, yeah, there's not that many holes. And again, back on the don't try to fix what's not broken. I was just kind of saying that to give a different viewpoint because I assumed everybody would say they were excited to see new stuff. But when you've got the ponies that Jimmy's got, you could probably do we could line up and play radar defense and probably shut people down. So,
yeah, I don't know. It's just going to be exciting, right? Because Jimmy's whole thing is he doesn't just want to beat teams, right? He wants to destroy them. Isn't that what he's been quoted on saying multiple times?
Well, that was a Stig quote, wasn't it? I thought Stig said that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. We love Stig, but those aren't his words.
Oh, gosh. All right. Yes, thanks, Ryan. Ryan says defense is an embarrassment of riches up and down the depth chart. Absolutely. All right. So before we move on to this next segment, where we're going to talk about some fun stuff that we have coming up this fall, I need to thank 2 of our sponsors, Jackrabbit Central, right? That's where you can go to jackrabbitcentral.com, pick up any of your apparel, your swag that you need to get you ready for game day or looking good in the office in your Jackrabbit gear. It looks like right now their downtown location is closed for some remodeling. So that'll be kind of interesting to see what that looks like as we get going or as we get into the fall. But once games kick off, they'll have the stadium shop open as well as the location in the student union. So that's good. And again, you can just go online too, and they'll ship it to you. So really excited about that. Make sure you're getting ready for the blackout game against Montana State. So again, jackrabbitcentral.com to get all of your gear for that. All right, next up is Culver's. And so we got to know, Chase, if you go to Culver's, what's your order?
Oh, I'm a double butter double butter burger. Yeah. Sure.
There we go. Good. Have you ever had the curd burger?
I haven't.
Me either. Dallas, will you walk us through what the curd burger is again?
I don't think it's not a year-round thing. It's a once a year. Prepare to take a nap when you're done. But they have like a giant, like patty-sized cheese curd that goes on it, and God, it's glorious. But like I said, don't have anything to do when you're done. Go to bed.
Go to bed.
Go to bed. That's it.
Gosh. All right. Well, we're sponsored by Culver's out of Brookings and Watertown. Be sure to stop in either before or after the game to get what you need from Culver's, your favorite cement mix or your favorite burger, whatever that may be, your sides, if it's onion rings, cheese curds, or fries, which are all delicious in my book. So stop into Culver's of Brookings or Watertown to get that done. All right, let's talk about something kind of fun here, right? We hinted at this last week, or I did, about the game up in the cities at Target Field against Drake. The Twin Cities Alumni Association has done an awesome job of kind of organizing some pregame festivities, and they're doing this thing called Jack the Loop. And they have establishments at 8 different places: Gray's, Inbound Brew Company, Number 12 Cider, Fulton Brewing Tap Room, First Draft, Modiste Brewing Company, Bricksworth Beer Company, and Cowboy Jack's, which is where we will be. And if you've ever been to Cowboy Jack's, you know that it's huge, that it's a blast, and that they have an outdoor rooftop bar area. And we are pumped for it. Chad, you won't be there, but Dallas, you will be.
Oh, I'll be there. But it's Chad, actually my son and my dad's birthday too, so we got a good sized crew we bringing in.
Awesome.
And we also the JFPA will be setting up shop there as well. Mm-hmm. So should have a giant crew, both in numbers and in size. And what did somebody accuse God, was it Rev? Somebody accused
either
us
Rev
all
or
of looking
Kyler.
like stackable washers and dryers or something like that. Chase, this is somebody, it's a FCS Fans Nation guy out of Texas who's actually going to come up and watch the MSU game with us. And he said, we all look like stackable washers and dryers. I love that.
That's funny.
The hell of a line.
Yeah, right. All right. And so
Rev's got
a
a
couple
bunch of
things,
one-liners.
I've been working with Cowboy Jacks just to get some details figured out. They will have food, so that's good. And then those, if you're bringing your kids, they can come into Cowboy Jacks up until 9 p.m. Once 9 p.m. hits, you got to get them out of there. So, but they're going to be opening at 10 for us. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully we can get them to do some drink specials. We've told them, folks, them to have a lot of Busch Light on hand. So
Extra Busch Light.
extra
Can't
Busch
go
Light.
wrong.
There's no way they'll have enough, right?
No way.
I
No, there's
challenge
no way.
our fans to drink them out.
Yeah, let's actually, everybody that's listening or watching,
Drink 'em dry.
we expect you at the game. We expect you to come to Cowboy Jacks because we will all be there, and you need to order at least 1 or 7 Busch Lights, and we're gonna have a great time, and then we're gonna prove that they did not get enough.
There we go.
Having been there myself, the food top notch.
Nice.
The drinks, well, let's just say they're Jim's Tap-esque in the amount of alcohol that's in them, because
Ooh.
I took a drink of my old fashioned and I'm pretty sure it was half whiskey. So
Perfect.
when I drink an old fashioned and I go, whoa, all the people sitting at the table looked at me like, is there something wrong with your drink? And they literally said that. I'm like, no, it's just that strong. And
Man, this is going to be what a cool thing for the school. I know we talked a lot about the impact of losing a game on campus and all that, but just in terms of, we've got the alumni association up there, different fan groups, cropping up in the Twin Cities. Unfortunately, the Cows to the north have kind of, being a Minnesotan, the Cows to the north have kind of owned the Twin Cities area in terms of recruiting and just attention and media focus coming out of there, right? Like, this is a good step for the university to get in and take a chunk out of that, because it's a large population, tons of athletes, tons of students that can come there, and I think this is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So get there and show out. Have fun.
Chase, as a player, like a destination game like this for Target Field, does that do anything for you, playing like the Twin Stadium, or is it kind of like here we go again, another game?
Oh, I mean, it's definitely a unique, cool thing. I think everybody's excited to get there and just see what it's like for the first time. And then once it gets going, yeah, it's just another thing. It's not really something that probably is going to be in their head too much once the bullets start flying. But yeah, it'll be a cool thing. I think everyone will really enjoy it and is excited.
Sure. Good. Yeah, I was interested to get your take on it. I'm interested, like, from a Twins perspective, having 300-pound linemen tearing up your field when you may be in the middle of a playoff hunt at that time still. Like, very interesting.
Yeah, I bet they don't love that, but I'm guessing they did not have a choice.
Yeah,
it's the Twins. They'll find a way to mess that up.
Oh, yeah. No question.
Right? It's the one Minnesota sports team that I actually follow and cheer for, and so I'd take it on the chin there because it's a Minnesota sports team.
All right. Deb's in.
Yes.
She'll be there.
All right,
Yeah,
Deb,
there we
it's
go,
a part.
Deb.
Deb, welcome.
We've got other good alternatives, Deb, I promise.
All right.
Hey,
two other
hold on,
things.
hold on. Oh, sorry. What are your things? Go ahead.
All right. We got a big commit this week. Defensive tackle, Bennett Lies. I think that's how you say it. Chad, you're the German expert. L-I-H-S. How would you say that? Bennett Lies?
That's
All right.
how I would say it.
All right.
I've been chatting with him just a touch, but yeah, he's from just south of Stuttgart a little bit.
Okay.
And he's really excited to get on campus. So
Good.
And if you had Germany to Georgia, if anybody on their trifecta had Germany to Georgia to Connecticut, congratulations, you're a millionaire.
Yeah, right? Because that is Bennett's path to SDSU. So he's at a prep school right now in Connecticut. Played last year in Georgia, and like Dallas mentioned, is originally from Germany. I'm wondering, Chad, did he mention the connection? Because they have a Coach Banks at his prep school. Any relation, I wonder, but to our
I
Coach
didn't.
Banks.
I didn't bother to ask because I didn't know that. So sorry
Yeah.
for being
Oh, that's
less than
okay.
diligent there.
Jesus. Chad, never apologize. All right. All right. So excited about him. We mentioned the other two last week. So go check out his huddle. It's pretty fun. The offensive lineman from Iowa that we hired, or not hired.
We're
not
we have more money than I
FBS,
thought. No,
man.
what's going on?
We're not
No.
FBS.
Sorry. There's no NIL deals here right now. But he is like a bulldozer, you guys. I went back and watched his huddle a little more after the show. That kid is fun. So go check that out too. All right. And then the final thing that I have to bring up is we have partnered this year with Hannah Owens of the Owens Effect. And we're going to be using her images in the blog and the podcast for the thumbnails. We've been retweeting some of her work. Hannah does a great job. She was on the sidelines for pretty much all the games last year in Brookings as well as in Frisco. And you can click through her thumbnails, order pictures from her. They're awesome. She is very talented. And we're excited to be partnering with Hannah on this for this year. So check out the Owens Effect, I believe is her Twitter handle. So check that out.
It's awesome. Welcome,
Also,
Hannah.
her website, theowenseffect.com.
Yeah. All right.
So, hold on. The thing I wanted to bring up, we, Jackrabbit Illustrated, we're looking for bloggers. So if you're a writer, if you love the Jackrabbits, if you're interested in contributing, reach out to me on Twitter or X or whatever we're going to call it, Twitter, because that's stupid. Reach out to me on Twitter. Follow GoJacksDallas and just comment at me, whatever. If you're interested in any sort of writing during the season, let me know. We'd love to have you.
Yeah. And even if it's just a one-off, Josh Hoffman's done a one-off blog for us the last 2 years of things that he, is watching for the season, thinking about. We're open to that. Send us your ideas for that. So, yeah. Chase, anything else from you, sir?
No, I'm just excited to be a part of this. This is where I'm at now, and this is a lot of fun. So I'm excited.
All right, good.
In all seriousness, welcome as a JFPA old guy, whatever. Welcome to the club, and
thank you guys so much.
Yep, excited to have you.
Yeah,
like, share, and subscribe to everything, guys. There's plenty of people out there that watch our stuff that don't do that. Thanks for the comment, Brian Webster. Good to see you, Webby.
Hold on, Ron. Is this a shot at us, an athlete's perspective? What?
I mean, Dallas is an athlete.
Yeah, Dallas is an athlete. I mean,
haven't you seen my athletic build?
Yeah, what are you talking about? I think
technically I'm not even an athlete anymore.
Yeah. Chad, this might be like the stackable washers and dryers comments here. All right. Hey, everyone that's tuned in tonight, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Can't wait to keep spending Sunday nights with you here until middle of January. So with that, go big, go blue, go
Jacks, buddy.
Go Jacks.